little bed when the night became too quiet. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, the heavy one that presses on your chest and refuses to leave. The fluorescent light above me flickered softly, like it was tired too. My body ached in places I couldn't explain, and my head felt heavier than the pillow beneath it. I reached for my phone, not because I wanted to scroll, but because I needed to hear a human voice. Just one familiar voice to remind me that I was not alone in that room. My contact list was full. Names, numbers, people. People I had helped, people I had stood by, people I had answered at odd hours without complaint. I dialed the first number with trembling fingers. It rang. Once. Twice. Then it stopped. I tried another. No answer. Another. Voicemail. With each failed call, something inside me cracked quietly. Not loudly enough for anyone to notice, just enough to hurt. As the minutes passed, I stopped dialing. I stared at the screen until it dimmed and locked itself, like it was tired of waiting too. That was when the truth settled into my bones with a cold certainty. When I was strong, everyone needed me. When I was weak, nobody remembered me. The thought didn't come with anger at first. It came with confusion. How did I get here? When did everything change? I turned my face toward the window. Outside, the world continued like nothing was wrong. Cars passed, lights glowed in distant buildings. Somewhere, people were laughing. Somewhere, someone was calling a friend and being answered. Inside that room, I felt invisible. Not because I didn't exist, but because my usefulness had expired.
Yes, I'll
Helping
bring it over
people
now.
did not
Please
start as a
take
burden.
this. It's going to be okay.
At first, it
Hello?
felt
I'm
good.
on my way with
It felt
more.
right.
Yes, I'll bring
When
it over
someone
now.
called and said
Please
they were
take
stuck,
this. It's
my
going to
heart
be okay.
responded before
Hello?
my head
I'm on
could
my
think.
way with more.
I liked
Yes,
being
I'll
the
bring it over
solution.
now.
I
Please
liked
take
hearing
this. It's going
relief
to be
in their
okay.
voices when I
Hello?
said,
I'm on my
"Don't
way
worry,
with more.
I'll handle
Yes,
it."
I'll bring it over
It made
now.
me feel useful,
Please take this.
important,
It's going to be okay.
needed.
Hello? I'm on
Those
my way
words
with
wrapped
more.
around my
Yes, I'll bring
identity
it over
until
now.
I could not
Please
tell where
take
I
this. It's going to
ended
be okay.
and where their
Hello?
needs
I'm
began.
on my way with more.
Slowly,
Yes, I'll bring
helping
it over
became
now.
a habit.
Please take this.
A habit
It's going
so
to be
deep
okay.
that I stopped
Hello?
checking
I'm
myself.
on my way with more.
I stopped
Yes,
asking
I'll bring it
questions
over
like,
now.
"Can I
Please
afford
take
this?"
this.
or
It's going to be
"Do I
okay.
have the strength?"
Hello? I'm on my
Whenever
way with
doubt
more.
appeared,
Yes,
I
I'll
pushed
bring
it
it over now.
aside.
Please
Someone
take this.
always
It's going to
needed
be okay.
something, and I
Hello?
always
I'm
found a
on
way
my
to
way with
provide
more.
it.
Yes,
Even
I'll
when it
bring it
meant
over now.
borrowing, even when
Please
it
take
meant
this. It's going
sacrificing
to be
sleep,
okay. Hello?
even when it
I'm
meant
on my way with
ignoring the
more.
quiet voice
Yes, I'll
inside
bring it
me
over
that was
now.
begging
Please
for
take
rest.
this. It's going.
I
Please
paid
take
school
this.
fees that
Thank
were
you,
not
ma'am.
my
God bless you.
responsibility.
And for you, little
I
one,
supported dreams
please
that were
take
not
this.
mine. I stood
Thank
in
you,
the
my
gap
dear.
for
You're
people who
welcome, Uncle.
promised they would pay
Thank
me
you so
back
much.
soon.
Of course. Here you
Soon
go.
became
Bless you.
weeks.
Please
Weeks
take
became
this.
months. Months
Thank you,
turned
my
into
dear.
silence.
You're welcome, Uncle.
When I
Thank
felt
you so
tired
much.
and
Of
mentioned
course.
it,
Here you
they
go.
laughed
Bless
and
you.
said I was strong.
Please take
They
this.
said I could handle it.
Thank you, my dear.
They said
You're
God
welcome,
would bless
Uncle.
me for my
Thank
good
you
heart.
so much. Of course.
There were
Here you
nights
go.
I lay
Bless you.
awake counting
Please
problems
take
instead of
this.
money. I would
Thank
look
you,
at
my
the
dear.
ceiling
You're
and tell
welcome,
myself
Uncle.
tomorrow would
Thank
be
you so
better.
much. Of
That
course. Here you
somehow
go.
something
you.
would change.
Please
But
take this.
tomorrow always came
Thank
with
you, my
another
dear.
request,
You're welcome, Uncle.
another
Thank you so
emergency,
much. Of course.
another
Here you
reason
go.
why I
Bless
had
you.
to put myself
Please
last.
take this.
And each time I said
Thank you, my dear.
yes,
You're welcome,
something
Uncle.
inside me
Thank you so
quietly
much.
said
Of course.
no.
Here you go.
Bless you.
Respect did not disappear suddenly. It faded slowly, like a picture left in the sun. Calls became commands. Requests became expectations. Gratitude became rare. If I delayed, they got upset. If I questioned, they reminded me of past help I had given, as if it obligated me forever. Somewhere along the line, my kindness stopped being appreciated and started being exploited. What hurt the most was how normal it all became. Nobody asked how I was doing anymore. Nobody noticed my exhaustion. When I spoke about being overwhelmed, they said I was overthinking. They said everyone had problems. They said I should stop complaining. And so, I learned to smile through the fatigue. I learned to swallow my pain. I learned to carry everything alone. The signs were there long before everything collapsed. I just did not want to see them. My body spoke first in ways I brushed aside as normal stress, persistent headaches, sudden fatigue, nights where sleep refused to come even when my body was exhausted. I told myself it was temporary. I convinced myself that rest was a luxury I could not afford. Emotionally, I was drying up. Things that once made me happy stopped working. I laughed less. I listened more than I spoke. When people talked, I heard them, but I no longer felt present. Somewhere inside, I was running on empty, but I kept moving because stopping felt like failure. I believed that if I slowed down, everything I had built would fall apart.
There's a kind of tiredness that sleep cannot fix. It sits deep in your bones and makes simple tasks feel heavy. I woke up each day already tired. The mirror reflected someone I barely recognized. Eyes dull, smile forced, shoulders slumped under invisible weight. Still, when the phone rang, I answered. Habit had replaced choice. I became afraid of silence. Silence meant thinking, and thinking meant feeling. So I filled my days with other people's problems. It was easier to fix someone else's life than to face the slow collapse of my own. I kept telling myself I would deal with it later. I didn't know later was already knocking. The breakdown did not come with drama. It came quietly. One day I stood up and felt dizzy. The room spun gently like it was warning me. Another day my chest tightened for no clear reason. Pain visited my joints, my back, my neck, places I had ignored for too long. Still, I kept going. Still, I said yes. Until the day I couldn't. My body refused to cooperate. My strength disappeared. Tasks that once felt easy became impossible. That was when fear entered. Not the loud kind, the cold, quiet kind that whispers, something is wrong. And for the first time, acceptance was not loud. It did not come with fireworks or sudden joy. It was quiet, gentle, a whisper in my soul that said, it's okay to stop. It's okay to put yourself first. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. I let myself feel the weight I had carried for years, and for the first time, I did not try to carry it. I let it sit. I let it be. I did not fight it. I did not rush it. I simply accepted it. This moment changed everything. Not instantly, but steadily. I began to understand that self-care was not selfish, that choosing myself did not make me unkind, that love, real love, must start with me. And as I breathed in that truth, I felt something I had not felt in years. Relief. Soft, quiet, liberating relief. The first step was small. I stopped answering every call. I stopped saying yes to every request. I said no, gently but firmly, to people who took without giving. I began to do things I had long postponed: rest, reading, walking outside, cooking, even just sitting quietly. Each action was a brick in a new foundation, a life built not on obligation but on choice. I discovered something amazing. The world did not end when I stopped being everyone's fixer. People found their own way, and I found mine. I still helped where I could, but now it was balanced. Now it was healthy. And for the first time, I felt whole again, strong, not because of what I gave, but because of what I allowed myself to keep. Thank you for watching. Please do come back for more. God bless you.